Hi everyone, my name is Melissa van Dijk, and in today's video I want to talk about whether you really need a cleanser. Or let's say when it's best to use one and when it's fine not to use one. Because this can get confusing, especially if you've never used one before, but suddenly you hear about it from friends or online. Or maybe you've been using one for years and start wondering if you still need it, but you're too scared to stop because you don't know what will happen if you do. And that one was also true for me. I used to feel I had to cleanse no matter what, just because that's what everyone said. But over time I realized it's actually much simpler than it seems, because it really just comes down to when it makes sense to use one and when it doesn't. So let's first look at when it really makes sense to use one. Now, a cleanser is very useful when you need to remove makeup or sunscreen. That's because most of these products are made to stay on your skin. They're designed to resist sweat, oil and water, so plain water often isn't enough to take them off completely. Of course, not every product is like that. Some lighter sunscreens or water-based makeup can be rinsed off more easily, but in general, if something says that it's long-lasting, water-resistant or high coverage, then a cleanser helps to make sure that it's fully removed. And in that case, a regular cleanser, like whether it's foaming or non-foaming, is usually enough. However, if your sunscreen or makeup is more stubborn, then an oil or balm cleanser makes much more sense. Because oil dissolves oil, so it helps break everything down more gently, and you don't have to rub as much to get it off, which means less irritation for your skin. And if that's your main reason for cleansing, it's enough to use it just once a day, in a late afternoon or evening, whenever you're done with your work or school and you want to take everything off. And then in the morning, if you want to wash your face, you can just use water. There's no need for a cleanser then, since there's nothing to be removed. However, the opposite can also be true. So, for example, if you work at night and wear makeup, you can use your cleanser once you get home. Then wash your face with water later in the day to refresh it and remove any sweat or oil. And if you have a skincare routine that includes products like a toner, exfoliant, essence, serum or moisturizer with or without sunscreen or makeup, a cleanser helps to properly remove all of it. So if you have a morning and evening routine, you can use your cleanser in each, as it helps to remove any residue from your skincare products. And lastly, you could also use a mild cleanser if your face gets dirty from work. For example, if you work in construction or live in a highly polluted area, because it helps to remove dirt and pollution more effectively than water alone. Okay, so now that we've covered when to use a cleanser, let's look at when you don't really need one. And the most obvious case is when you don't use any skincare products and your skin is doing fine. I mean, just leave it that way. Don't start using a cleanser unnecessarily, because once you start, you might create problems that weren't there before. For example, your skin might start feeling tight or dry, especially if the cleanser is too strong or used too often. And over time, it can also become more sensitive or even start breaking out, even though it was clear before. That can happen because the skin barrier gets disrupted and the natural oils are stripped away, so the skin has to work harder to find balance again, because it just takes time for your skin to rebuild its balance and natural barrier again. And during that time, it's easy to feel like you need to do something about it. So you start buying other products to fix those new problems, which are a calming toner, a serum, something for your breakouts, or maybe even a heavier moisturizer because you think you need to repair your barrier. But the issue only started because of the cleanser in the first place, and that's how you end up in a cycle that never really stops. So if your skin is already fine, there's really no need to put it through that. Okay, so let me quickly show you a little demonstration of what I mean. So you basically hop into the shower, or you can do the same above the sink. Use lukewarm water to clean your face, and that's enough. Then when you hop out of the shower, just gently rub or pat with a towel over your face, and that's it. It's clean and nothing else is needed here. So that's when you don't need a cleanser. But what if you've already been using one for years and can't imagine stopping? That's where I want to share a bit from my own experience, because for a long time I felt exactly the same way. So ever since I started using makeup and skincare, which is about 15 years ago, I've always used something to remove it. At first it was micellar water or makeup wipes, and then later on I switched to a liquid cleanser. So it became a habit, and honestly, I couldn't imagine not using one. But when I started looking for the root cause of my acne about 1.5 years ago, my goal was to stop using all skincare products, including cleansers. I mean, otherwise I couldn't tell whether my breakouts were caused by skincare, by food, or by something in my environment. And at first it felt really strange not to cleanse. I was scared to stop, and honestly it was a bit of a hard habit to break. I really thought that it might make things worse, but it didn't. As it turned out, my acne was entirely triggered by the things I consumed and by environmental factors, like detergents or even the tools I used to prepare my food. And using a cleanser made no difference at all. In the beginning, my skin was a bit flaky and felt slightly tight, but looking back, there was probably just an adjustment period after years of product use. Or it could have been entirely caused by weather changes. I'm still not sure to this day. But the point I want to make here is that if you've been thinking about stopping your cleanser and you're not really needing it in the first place and you're only using it because you think you should, then try leaving it out for a few weeks or even a few months. Just let your skin do its job, and if you don't like the results, you can always go back to using one. But you might also realize that you don't actually need it, or at least not that often, and maybe just in special cases like the ones we talked earlier about. So just take your time with it, listen to your skin, see how it responds, and you might be surprised how little it actually needs. And that's what I want to share with you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Happy skin caring!